Hi everyone, this is Heather Lottinen from the Flourish.Academy. This is episode 367, and today we're going to talk about an irrational fear that you might have. But first, if we're on episode 367, which is amazing by the way, then that means that there are 366 other episodes that you might want to check out. If you go to Flourish.Academy.tv, you can see all of the other episodes and you can even search them if you are looking for something in particular. But today I'm talking about a struggle that many of my private mentoring clients have. They come to me all the time and they are so worried and concerned with putting themselves out there in terms of their photography. Now we're talking about photography today, but this could apply to anything because they're worried about what other people think. Have you experienced this fear? And is there any greater fear than the fear of being judged? Well, for a woman, I think not. So they're thinking, I want to get into photography, I want to start a business, but I'm afraid to put myself out there. I'm not sure what to do about it. And my question is to you, what are you really worried about? What do you think will really happen? Because if you're worried about what other people think, let me first start by saying it is none of your business what other people think. So you can let them think whatever they want. And maybe you're worried. I hear a lot of women say, well, if I put it out there, somebody might see it and say, you know, who does she think she is? And why is she doing this? And is she starting a new career? And now all of a sudden she's a photographer. So you're thinking all of these things, which by the way, you are making up in your brain. You are assuming that somebody is going to think that about you, but maybe they're not thinking about you at all. In fact, chances are they're not, because most people are only thinking of themselves. So putting yourself out there worried about what other people think is really quite irrational. And the only reason you would think that someone would say, why is she doing that? Who does she think she is if you have done that to someone else in the past. Because we always project the way we see the world onto others. So if you've ever thought that about someone, then of course you're going to worry that people are thinking that about you. But if you're going to assume that people are going to think something poor about you putting yourself out there, which you don't know if it's really happening or not, then why not flip that around and just assume that everyone thinks you're awesome? So why not put your work out there and just think everybody's gonna love it because everybody thinks it's awesome because I think everybody's awesome. So you have to make that switch in your brain. And also, if you are focused on what your high school friends are gonna think because you are all of a sudden into photography or maybe starting a photography business, if you are focused on those high school friends from 20 years ago, then I promise you, you are not focused on your client because you're thinking about what everyone else is going to think or about impressing them. Now, this really hit home for me about 10 years ago. I previously volunteered for an organization called Now I Lay Me Down to Sleep. Have you heard of this? We are a group of photographers that will go to hospitals when an infant is either born still or may pass shortly after being born due to an illness, a complication, whatever it is. We would volunteer, go to the hospital, take photos of these families and these babies, just to help them with the grieving process and deliver these images. Now, as a result, you can imagine there's a high level of confidentiality with these sessions. So there were contracts and you wouldn't, of course, you would never ever share these images, right? So I go into these sessions, and this one in particular, I was thinking to myself, there really wasn't the same kind of pressure in this session as there is with my regular clients because no one is going to see those photos except for that family and probably just the parents of that baby. So I had a totally different mindset. I wasn't photographing those sessions to impress you. And if I'm being honest, when I photograph my weddings and my portraits, I'm absolutely photographing to impress you. I want you to like my photos, which means I'm not focused on my clients, which is not good, by the way. So after doing several of these sessions, again, there's one in particular I'm thinking of where I thought, if I am truly focused on my client, then I'm not worried about what you are going to think of my photos. It really emotionally releases a lot of pressure or stress that you put on yourself. And if it weren't for social media, then all of your friends would not be seeing all of these photos anyway, right? So what I would like you to do So next time you go into a session, I want you to just think, I want to take the best possible photos that I can for this client. And that client is not comparing your photography to say you're a senior photographer. They're not comparing those photos to the best senior photographer in the world because they don't know that person. They just know their own child and they know your photography. And more than likely, because they hired you, they're going to love you and they're going to love those photos. So this worrying about what other people think is really just nonsense, and it's holding you back. It's an irrational fear that doesn't even matter. You know, I said to a client recently, she said, well, I'm just a little bit nervous to put my work out there because I've had this job my whole life. People are going to wonder, what is she doing? Who cares? Why do you care if people wonder what you're doing? They don't care. They're not wondering about you. They're not thinking about you. Nobody's thinking about anybody else. They're only thinking about themselves. So you're so worried what other people are going to think, and it's not even necessary. And then so I had her talk this through with a series of questions. You know, what are you actually afraid of? Are you going to get mauled by a bear if you put your photography work out there? No, I don't think that's going to happen. I'm pretty sure you're going to live, so who cares? It doesn't matter. And I said to her, I got very animated at this meeting. I said, they don't pay my mortgage. My photographer friends that follow me or people that look at my work do not pay my mortgage. My clients pay my mortgage. Therefore, I am going to be 100% focused on them and what they think, not on what everybody else thinks. Why are you letting the possibility of somebody maybe thinking something about you that you don't like stop you from following your dreams or doing something, putting yourself out there? Why are you allowing that to happen? It's this fear of being judged, but who cares? Does it even really matter? There will be people that love this video. There will be people that hate this video. I will get comments on this video, but I'm trying to talk to people that really want to hear the message. So why would I focus on somebody who doesn't want to hear it? I'm going to focus on the people who are really interested in it. I hope that you found this helpful. Make sure you go to Flourish.Academy and check out all of the other episodes. I hope you continue to flourish, and I'll see you in the next video.